Small businesses are communities. And it's more than just a transaction. It's actually a really nice, fun experience that enriches your life.
I was working in the mortgage business until it crashed in '07. And then we were trying to figure out what to do with our lives.
And I always dreamed of having a restaurant, so he was like, oh, we're absolutely not doing that. And I said, no, I'm pretty sure we are. He said, no, stop, don't say that.
We went all in. I mean, we put every dime that we had into that restaurant.
I don't think we started even paying ourselves until the 3rd year. Everybody was telling us all the reasons why we shouldn't do it. And especially when somebody tells me you can't do something, then I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
She really works really hard on everything. You know, she go home at 1 o'clock in the morning and get back at, 7 o'clock, doing the books, trying to doing it all, so I helped her.
I could see how much Dennis and Ann cared about all the employees. A lot of bosses don't, they can barely remember your last name,
It was a struggle. People started coming after the first year, then the second year, and then after that, everything went broke loose, people was out the door.
People wanted a neighborhood restaurant, and that's what we became for them.
At one point, we was the most popular in Sonoma.
They just felt welcome no matter whether they were dressed up, dressed down, or, they did have to be dressed. And then the last year, we had finally just gotten into that place.
And we were just about to make that step where we were going to start paying off investors. And
So that was pretty exciting.
Need more help in the Larkfield neighborhood.
The priority is life safety of the victims that are trying to be evacuated.
It was a Sunday night, and I walked out back, and it smelled like a campfire. I don't know, it was about 11 o'clock. We were just getting ready to finish up, and the power went out.
And when she came home, she says, when I looked down the road, there looked like there'd been a fire or something down there. It was moving very rapidly.
The fire jumped over Highway 101, obviously what would be a natural fire break. I just got word that there's a major shopping center that includes it.
You could see the whole neighborhood behind the restaurant was just on fire. And you immediately start thinking about the people. It's not just houses. It's like, did the neighbors, did they get warned, or or did they get out?
About 2:15, we got a phone call saying that the sprinkler alarms went off.
And I was like, oh my God, my heart just sank, and I just knew. I thought at that moment, the restaurant had to be on fire. We went back like the second day after. And it was just really sad. I'm sorry, I'm just like, that was like the first time that I was just like, oh my God.
Fire came down from Sweeties down into my neighborhood. By the time I got back, that flames was right on the top of my roof. And I said, you know what you gonna do next after this? Everything's gone, and
I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that everything, that's basically my childhood home. I grew up there. Seeing that all just literally go up in smoke was pretty devastating.
Right here was the entrance to the market, and then the restaurant was right next door.
One of the people said, we didn't just lose our town, we lost in our homes, we lost our sense of community, because they always used to tease and say that Sweet Teas was like their Cheers. And so the place that they would always go to and see each other and hang out wasn't there either.
Well, it was never a question in our mind that we wouldn't rebuild. We had employees that needed jobs. We had a business that had a following that we felt like we owed something to those people. Right now, all I can think of is getting that restaurant open.
Good morning.
good morning.
What are you making for us?
We get some kimchi soup here.
Oh.
George actually was the electrician who wired the place. So he's a chef. We call him a chef-trician because he cooks and he does electrical. Not at the same time, though.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. George says it'll probably be done by Wednesday.
He says a lot of things.
The issue today is it's taken us longer to do the build out than we expected. We thought that we were going to get back open in 6 months, which was totally impossible. It was like, oh, it's going to be November. No, it's going to be December. No, it's going to be January. You know, it's going to be February. It's like things kept slipping. I said, this has got to stop. So everything just takes time, and it also takes money.
We're literally funding this out of insurance proceeds, and we were, like most people, we were really underinsured. The insurance company, they want you to spend the money first and then turn it in and then get reimbursed in order to incur more expense.
The cash flow just was not enough to pay the bills, so we used some of our own credit cards, so it was really hard.
We ended up with a small business disaster loan.
On the day we open, we're going to have over $500,000 in debt.
Thank you so much for getting here early. We're gonna need some help moving the chairs inside, getting ready for the grand opening.
Hey there, how are you guys doing today? Good, how are you? Doing well? Good. Our challenge is to create a place for people to enjoy food, their friends, and their community. Part of that is the design of the place, part of it is going to be the food, and part of it is just going to be loving those people.
I always feel like it's kind of like theater. Going through and checking everything and making sure that everything's in place and ready for service. And we always kind of tease and we're like, okay, it's showtime, and then we start.
When communities suffered in some way, so I saw it in New York with Hurricane Sandy and with the unrest in Baltimore, when communities are basically shut down, it's the small businesses and the small business owners that are often the first ones on the ground bringing the community back to life. So a bagel shop opening, a sports store opening, these are the leaders who are mobilizing the whole community to, in essence, reopen and get people back.
Hi, good morning.
There was a line of people out the door. That was 11:30. We opened up, and more than I would have ever guessed. It was just amazing. I mean, it was just absolutely wonderful.
It was just like, wow. The place came alive, and it feels great. Like getting the family back together.
Sweet Teas is my family. Like, I've never had bosses that cared about somebody as hard as they do.
There were some of the staff who lost homes that night. They were all okay. But you feel like they're all your kids, and you feel responsible for them.
After it burnt down, they continued to pay my health insurance, even though I didn't work for them for a year and a half.
It's wonderful, all these people, because it's not just Ann or just Dennis, it's all these people make this happen.
Yeah, I live next door. I left your fire, you stopped your car because I was out front with a flashlight, and you rolled down your window and you told me to get out.
Mm-hmm. And you got out okay?
I got out okay, but my house was the last one to go. Thank you for stopping because nobody else did.
You're making me cry now.
Me too.
I gotta go. All right.
I don't think that we realized early on that our business isn't the building, it's the people. It's our employees, it's our customers. That's our restaurant family, and it's not gone. I realized that all of it was still there, and that was really comforting.
This restaurant is doing better now than our best week ever at the other restaurant. Well, I think it helps everybody. We're employing probably 80 people now. A lot of our vendors are local people. I mean, we're just one of many, many, many people making our community a great place to live.
It's still the neighborhood restaurant. That, to me, is the biggest compliment you can ever get.